What's cracking? What's cracking? How's everybody doing? It looks like they might not have sent the the notifications out. It says Kiko was here at 1:40. I see three people in here, but let's get some people in the chat before we start.
You could definitely see who pops in.
Hey, YG1800, rise. What's cracking, everybody?
Well,
So this is something different, out of the norm for what Gunner and I usually do. But because it was so serious, we just decided, hey, let's just do a quick 30 minutes or so and bring eyes to the subject, in case anybody wants to donate. I'm sure there's going to be, right now they're saying, so if you didn't hear this morning, there was a 7.7 earthquake in Myanmar. Right now there's about 150 people confirmed dead, but there's people saying that it could be up to 100,000 or maybe more. I don't know where the number's coming from, but that's a humongous number. At the same time, a 7.7 is humongous.
That's a big one.
Yeah, those of us here in California, we're used to earthquakes. We're not used to a 7.7, but we're used to earthquakes. People in other parts of the country don't even know what an earthquake feels like. For us, it's not that bad, but it can get a little bit scary. But I can't imagine what it must feel like to be in that. I mean, if you guys have seen the footage of it, there was a building that was it was skyscraper under construction, came down.
Collapse.
You see other buildings just rocking back and forth. And just imagine the devastation if it turns out, even if it was not 100,000, even if it's just 10,000 people.
Still, 10,000.
How do you? Yeah, no, but even just like things that people maybe don't want to think about, but we'll bring it up. Like how do you bury 10,000 people that all died at the same time?
Yeah, in the same area. Is there even anywhere to bury them? Enough land?
I don't know if in the Asian culture is cremation a thing over there, like a big thing.
I'm not sure.
I wonder what they do over there. Because I think they might not do that, because I think when they die, they're supposed to be full.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That
they do like a week long. I mean, different cultures, right? Mm-hmm. I know my one of my ex-brother-in-laws was Mien, which is a culture kind of like Laos or Hmong. Anyways, their mother passed, and they were like in mourning, cutting their hair and doing things for like a week straight. It was like a week straight thing, like ritual they had to go through in that culture. So you would think, man, you got 10,000 people doing all that. It's just crazy. For the economy, it changes the economy. A lot of things. You know what? To Trick Dubs, I was thinking 7.7. That's bigger than the Bay Area earthquake. Remember when the Bay
That was like a 7.4, no?
No, that was like a 6.4.
Oh, was it? I thought it was no. There was an old earthquake way back in the days in Frisco that was a 7 point something. I was thinking of that one.
That actually
Thank you, Luis.
Thank you, Luis. That actually flattened Frisco. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that they keep saying that if we ever have like a 9.9 or a 10 or something like that.
I couldn't even imagine.
It'll be gone.
You know how these buildings in California, they're built for earthquakes? I wonder if they're built, like, how do you build something for a 10.0 or a 9 point something when we've never experienced that?
I don't think you can. I think that because what they're built on is like a kind of like a swaying stilt, so that it sways with the earthquake. Mm-hmm. Kind of like you ever seen one of those old things that it bounces back and forth?
Yeah.
That's what they're built on. But a 10 would just devastate, would break that, shatter that.
Mm-hmm.
A 10 will flatten the whole city. I think the earth will change. The crust, the San Andreas, I think that whole thing will break, just like the movie 2012 or whatever that movie was.
Mm-hmm.
San Andreas with the rock, when it'd just slide off into the ocean.
Ezekiel says Loma Prieto was a 7.1. Damn. So just imagine the devastation that did, and what, like, if a 7.7, imagine what the after, there's always aftershocks. That's one is excuse me, that's when it gets scary too. Once those aftershocks start hitting, you're like, damn. Because sometimes they're long and it.
Well, that too, and everything that's already shook up that barely made it through the first wave. Now, that's what was happening over there in the Bay when the first one happened, and then the initial shit, things collapsed. The 80 fell on top of each other. The freeway, that was the most devastating thing, was the freeway that collapsed on top of all those cars. And then every time they had an aftershock, there were several aftershocks, more pieces were falling. So it was just, man, it was crazy. You can only imagine this one right here, though. This is pretty big, and it's on right now. What we're talking about just happened today, so all the devastation is ongoing. Everything's ongoing right
now. And wait, Juana says, I just Googled, the biggest earthquake ever recorded was 9.5 in Chile. Damn.
9.5 in Chile. The whole Chile fell off.
Hey, but imagine, like, in those places, it's not as densely populated as like California or other parts of the United States. If certain United States cities get hit, California cities like Frisco's, to me, Frisco is the only real city in California. When you think of cities,
it's New York, of California.
Because everything else in California is spread out. People hate to admit it. It's burbed out, home suburb.
Yeah,
Frisco is everything congested, packed into a small area. So if something hit that, man, that would be huge devastation.
It would be crazy.
I'm thinking of the tsunamis as well. Like, where's the tsunami going to hit after this? There's usually a tsunami after that.
Yeah. Tsunamis, you have earthquakes, you have aftershocks, you have what it does too is the pipelines that are underground, like the sewage systems, the water systems, the natural gas lines, all these things could rupture, could break, a lot of things could happen under the ground that we don't even realize because we're so focused on the devastation above ground. A lot of our shit, our electricity, a lot of things are ran underground, a lot of the wiring of the water. Like I said, things could break, fall apart, twist. And so it could ruin, and that could cause, lack of water in that area. That could cause disease in that area. A lot of shit. Earthquakes are very devastating. People only think about the surface and people dying, but there's a lot more going on in the earth too. Usually when there's a big earthquake, more are going to happen in that area eventually.
Look at these guys. LA is a city, fool. LA is very spread out. Of course it's a city, but you don't understand what I'm saying. You look at New York, you look at Chicago, the only thing we have similar to that type where everything's densely packed in and builds up and not out is Frisco. We don't have any other city like that out here.
You know what's a city like that on the West Coast too is Seattle. Seattle's like that too, Dubs. You round the corner when you're going to Seattle, you pass Tacoma, the Tacoma Dome. Those that know. When you bend that corner, you see that motherfucker Seattle, you're like, nah, that's a city. Emerald City. That's a city. Thank you, Eli. We appreciate you. It's really a city. It's big. It's up. And I know what Dubs is meaning. He's meaning when you think cities, you think like New York City, like it goes straight up. It's all fucking like China, Japan, or what is that? Like Tokyo. You think Tokyo, shit like that.
I'm talking about millions or at least 1 million people packed in a square mile radius that's a lot smaller. LA is humongous. If you pull up a picture of LA, it is so spread out. You got the downtown area, but then it's so spread out. You look at Frisco, it's all packed in. You look at Chicago, all packed in. I don't want to get side. I don't care. You want to think whatever.
There's a reason why they call Frisco the city. That's the nickname.
No, but I just don't want to get away from that because we're talking about a serious topic, homie, where a lot of devastation happened. Who knows what? Like we were talking about, like Gunner saying, when you have something this big, we see what's above ground, and I don't know. I mean, Myanmar. Look at this is pictures of Myanmar before and after. That's what this thumbnail is.
Yeah,
so they look like a beautiful city, and so I would think that they're the pipes and all that. Like I would think it was. Hopefully, it's not. Hopefully, it's a little bit more modern, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Magic says 2025 has been insane. Shit, the year just started, man, and we have a 7.7 hitting. One of the things that we have to worry about in a lot of these places too, when something like that hits, is like look at the fires that just happened out here in LA County, and then next thing you know, people are looting burnt homes.
Yeah.
Like, how scandalous can you be?
Yeah.
So,
well, you know, and so for the people that are going to ask and inquire, of course, Marco Rubio was already talking about, you know, the aid, you know, automatically when countries have something catastrophic happens, they depend on the big brother, you know, United States for some type of aid. The United States are already mounting the troops to go over there and give aid. There's a lot of people, but I mean, this just happened and the United States is already stepping in to help. So it's a situation where not only do we're helping war-torn countries and things going on, but now we're going to start helping to bring these people back. You know, I mean, it's just we're already stretched thin. We're stretching ourselves thin. But should happen. But this is for reasons like this. Stuff is when people should come together. This is when people should come together and help. Shit like this. Badger Wolf. Thank you.
Wow. Badger Wolf says, oh, hold on. I forgot. I'm doing it today.
Yeah. You can put
Oops. I'm a seismic civil engineer here in Northern California with data we are collecting. It's a possibility. We're next. All we can do is retrofit existing structures. That's scary. That's scary.
Yeah.
Because like we were just talking about, depending on what part of California is hit, it's probably going to be a densely populated area. And I can't imagine a 7.7 hitting over here.
Oh, a 7.7 will break some shit. California it'll tear some shit up. See this area right here. I don't know how populated this area is right here. That where the 7.7 hit. I'm sure we're going to show some footage too. I know we got some stuff.
I have some stuff, but I'm kind of hesitant to do it just because I don't want YouTube tripping like, oh, you're using other people's content. You know what I mean? Because last time, remember, I used the news and it was all bad.
Yeah. So we might not show that, but
well, yeah, I'm gonna look up. Hold on.
Let me see. Here's one thing I can say though. As far as California, that San Andreas fault is probably one of the biggest faults in the world, right? And it goes right up and down from Southern California all up the West Coast. If we had a 7.7 dubs anywhere by the San Andreas fault, there'd be massive devastation in California, especially in places like the Bay Area because they're so close to the water. And if it caused a tsunami, imagine the damage that would do.
The Tortoise says Northridge in 94 was 6.7. I was in the county jail when that happened. I remember that the building was getting shook up like if a giant picked up a toy and just started shaking it. Yeah. That shit was crazy.
I told
as of March 2025, Myanmar's population is estimated to be around 54.8 million.
A lot of people. That's a lot of people in that area. A lot of people. It's a lot more than Frisco or LA, you know.
Well, yeah, it's a country. But I mean, if we put it into context, California has almost 40 million by itself.
Yes. So, but that goes to show you the Myanmar's. It's not a very big area, but that's a lot of people. 54 million people.
Absolutely. And how much of it looks like, or was made like this side over here of the picture, you know, where it's all golden and it's all beautiful. How much of it is country? How much of it is still undeveloped? And the way it sounds, I mean, it might sound fucked up, but I would think the underdeveloped parts, if they have underdeveloped parts, would actually be safer. You know, they don't have much to fall down on them. When you get into these nicer, newer places, you hope they were built to, I mean, how often do they have earthquakes in that? Like, you know, over here in California, when they build new buildings, they build it with earthquakes in mind. From bottom to top. You know, it's built with we probably going to have an earthquake, and let's, you know, prepare as we build. You know, it's part of the law over here.
California has earthquakes every day. Okay, they're just not big enough to feel. When you feel
allegedly, let's not get
conspiracy theories, people, the earth is flat, all that, right? Look, according to what I've seen on the news and things like that, scientists and shit, we have little, small, tiny earthquakes that you can't feel. They're not big enough to feel, right? So with that being in mind, ever since we're little kids, Dubs can tell you, because he's the same era, a little bit older, we used to have earthquake drills at schools back then. That was one of the main things. Get under the desk, fucking do all that. That's in California. I'm not sure if they did it in other states, but that's how serious the earthquake threat's always been in California. You know, so everything would keep in mind, everything is built earthquake proof or allegedly to be earthquake proof because they already know that. It's just like, say, Oklahoma, where they have a lot of tornadoes. They're going to build things tornado proof. Where they have hurricanes, they well,
let's nothing is earthquake proof or tornado proof. It's tornado ready or earthquake ready because we don't know. You know what I mean?
They're trying to do the best they can. We'll just say that.
Yeah. And who knows? Like I said, I don't know. I don't know if that area is known to have earthquakes, and if not, then they may not build for them.
Yeah,
you know, they may just build for beauty because I mean, you look at it, the structures right there are beautiful.
Yeah, gold.
But yeah, imagine if there's real gold used and then an earthquake hits, people are going to come up.
Yeah, and the cool part about it is that's the first thing some people think about. You know, when there's disasters, there's those type of people, man. I hate to say it, that immediately they think of the come up. Oh, there's a fire. What's left in there? You know, oh, fucking these people, something happened over here. They had to all leave. What do they got in their pad? You know, looting. It's crazy. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in, man. People are always trying to hustle and come up. And, you know.
Jetstone, I remember that earthquake. It was right before we were, my homeboys from my clique, we used to all meet up at one of the homies' pads and then walk to school from that pad. And his pad, his mom, dad, and two brothers lived in a garage in my neighborhood, and we were inside. And that 88 earthquake hit, and we were like, "Get the fuck out of this garage because it might collapse on us." And they say when it's an earthquake, the worst thing to do is to run outside because electrical wires can hit you. They can fall down and hit you. We were like, "We'll take our chances because we ain't staying."
You actually want to be like under like a beam type thing, like in the middle where you could go either way. But someone asked, they were like, "Is being in the hole in prison the best place to be during an earthquake?" No, I don't want to be somewhere where I could be trapped. And
what I used to always think of when I was in prison because of the earthquakes, and I used to think of tsunamis, especially in Pelican Bay, because they get tsunami. They probably got one today.
That's the Oregon coast.
They're right by so they're in the middle of a forest and the ocean is nearby. A tsunami has actually hit Crescent City, which is where Pelican Bay is. So I used to always want to be on the second tier, whether it was the oil or it was on the main line. I didn't care. I want the second tier. You know what I mean? Because I was like, a tsunami hits, maybe I'll get a little air. These vatos on the first tier, they're drowning.
Yeah. And one thing, you guys see these movies where you see the hole and it's a dark dungeon. It's not like that. The hole's just another, it looks just like the other cells. It's just like another building. It's a 270, depending on what institution you're in, what prison you're in. But usually it's a 270 design building. It's the same thing. It's just they got
not the shoe. Well, not the shoe.
I'm talking about the hole, not the shoe. Not the shoe. The shoe's different. The shoe's different. But I'm saying as far as ad seg, in most places ad seg, it's a 270 design building or sometimes a 180 design building.
If you're in a 180 design prison, it's going to be a 180.
180 design, yeah. And
but then they started building the standalone, what's called the standalone units. Pelican Bay got one. New Folsom was the first one to get one. They're built like Pelican Bay shoe. The tower can't see in any of the cells. It faces a white wall. Ask a bum, Dubs, how would you handle this if you were president of Burma? Well, if I was president of Burma, I would know what type of resources we have and stuff like that. I'm in the blind. I don't know what they have, what they can offer. But if you're just getting here, one of the things we talked about in the very beginning is right now there's 150 something people confirmed dead. There's fear that it may be up to 100,000. Even if it's not 100,000, let's say it's 10,000. Imagine how overwhelming that must be to have 10,000 people die at the same time. How do you bury them? How do they, like, where do they bury them? How do you deal with something like that? Do they have to just do cremations? That's something to think about that I think a lot of people don't think about unless it's happening to them.
Exactly. And you know what? And on top of that, too, it's not like they pull all these bodies out today. They're going to be pulling bodies out for weeks.
Yeah.
You know, you got to dig through the rubble. You got, there's a lot going on. We've seen the whole construction site, the whole skyscraper just go. Construction workers were running. Imagine the people that were on there working on there when it happened. You know, they're not even talking about that. So there's a lot of people buried. A lot of people are missing right now. There's a lot of families, I'm sure, concerned, calling. Yeah, it's devastation over there right now. And I know it's easy to talk about from the outside looking in, but imagine being there when that shit hit. There was a guy, I think he's a British reporter or whatever. He just happened to be on the street. He said this whole car started shaking. He thought he had a flat tire. And then he looked and every car was doing it. That shit's crazy.
And just so you guys know that aren't aware, Myanmar is in the western portion of mainland Southeast Asia and is bordered by India, Bangladesh, China, Laos, and Thailand.
Yeah.
Shit. Just China and India, man, those are huge. They both have over 1 billion people.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder like no, because I was thinking what kind of aid they could give. And nobody knows initially, like, you know, it's one thing to throw money at something, but you don't want to, you know, if you want to help, you want to, what's up, primo?
You want to feed on the ground.
You want to, no, you want to make sure you're sending the right things.
Yes, that they really
need. Like, yeah. So we're gonna just, you know, maybe we'll do something videos on it. We'll keep our eye on this, and when people you know, those of you who want to, who are willing, I'm sure you can Google it and see, you know, maybe Red Cross has something already set up, or, you know, anybody that wants to donate, just think about if a 7.7 hit us, you know, and it hit where you lived. We would need help, and we would want as much help as possible.
Badger Wolf says Cali use base isolators. It's rubber that's incorporated in the foundation design. This allows the buildings to slide. Then the building has brace frames to handle shaking. We have the most strict codes.
We have to. Yeah, we have to, because we do have a lot of earthquakes. Like Gunnar says, you know, we have 1,000 a day. You know what I mean? So he didn't say that.
No, I didn't say that.
We do have stuff often.
Yeah.
And you know what's a trip to me? One of the things that's a trip to me is a lot of people say we're crazy to live in California with the earthquakes. And a lot of guys that say that are in like Tornado Alley. And I'm like, I'll take an earthquake over a tornado any day.
Any day of the week. You know, it doesn't matter what part of the country you're in, which is crazy. There's natural disasters for everybody. You're either in hurricane land, you're in Tornado Alley, you're in fucking tsunami, you're in earthquake.
Well, California, we have
a little bit of a taste of everything.
California, we have the earthquakes, and then we have every season fire season.
Yes.
And you see California on fire every year. You know, it's you know, we have a lot. We have such a beautiful state, so much to offer, but you know, those are the things we have to deal with at the same time.
Yeah, that's the thing about this earth. This earth, man, is undefeated, right? No matter where you go and try to get away from things, there's always something. You know, there's even places. You go to the islands, there's volcanoes. You go to the other one, Yellowstone Park or whatever, and they have the fucking geysers. What are those called? The things that there's something everywhere. The fucking earth is built that way, you know. So that way, no one's gonna escape the wrath of the earth, man. That's just the truth. But it's fucked up when it does happen, because it happens unexpectedly. You know, it's not like with a hurricane. I always thought hurricanes you can get on. They see it coming from a mile away. I mean, that's up to you if you stay, right? You can jam. Earthquake, you can't. It just happens. You know? You'll be, and it happens at the most random time. You'll be just kicking in, and all of a sudden, what the fuck? It just shit starts shaking.
Yeah,
and it's scary. It scares the shit out of people. You know? Even
us that are used to it, like we feel, hey, we'll be playing it off like, damn, you feel that, but inside you're like, when is this thing gonna end? You know, it's like, is it gonna get worse? Or because we don't know. We always hear the boogeyman story about the big one that's coming, and we're gonna fall into the water. And you know, and then you got people that think, well, if I fall into the water, I'll just swim. No, you're not. When the earth is falling, it's pulling you down with it. You know, the force of it, you're gonna get sucked down.
Yeah, you know, it's just there's like Dubs was saying earlier on, there's a lot of people right now that are going through it. So, you know, inquire into this, look into it. It's something that's happening live on all big on big media right now. It's on every channel. It's a big
we were gonna show some stuff. I mean, I'm sure I can show print, but then I'd have to just read it to you guys. I already had something queued up from ABC News showing footage and all that stuff, but then you know, we don't want to take any chances where, you know, they trip on us for it. What is this
Yeah,
over here?
they might. They're trying to get theirs on.
Mhm.
But again, man, it's something that's happened. I think it happened this morning, sometime this morning. I'm not sure what time, but it was early this morning. And like Dubs, like it says right there, what Dubs put, over 100,000 fear dead. This is just an estimate of what they think could be.
Hopefully, it's way off. Hopefully, it's way off.
So far, over 150 confirmed dead, and I think it's almost up to 10,000 missing. So right now, and that was just in the few hours that it happened since it happened. You know what? It gets worse before it gets better. So, man, they're over there digging right now. This is crazy. It's good. Well, again, we got how many we got in here, Dubs?
222 right now.
On a lighter note, tomorrow night, Saturday night, join us on a live. We're going to be celebrating Dub's 51st birthday celebration on the live. Music, drinks, come chill, show some love, man. Dubs only turns 51 one time, so he's getting old, man. He's over this half.
Damn.
He's over half 100.
Damn, he threw in the, hey, we're going to be partying this and this and that, and Dubs is old.
Hey, did you guys watch the video today? Dubs said in his own video, he said, so what? I got Yankee Stadium on the back of my head. I said, why did it have to be Yankee Stadium, right? He's a Yankees fan. He went Yankee on him.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I said, the back of his head looks like a bowl of cotton candy. Shit, mine's worse. I'll just say that right off the top before he goes in on me. So my shit looks like fucking. I got fucking stabbed with a whole bunch of spaghetti.
If this wasn't a serious topic, Holmes, I would be all over your damn mustache. But we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait.
With my mustache because I got the white earth. Shit, I'm ready. I'm puro mexicano. This is the
Ask a bum. Did you see the building in Thailand come down from the earthquake? Yes, that's what we're talking about. There was a building under construction, and like Gunnar was saying, there's a very, very good possibility that there were people working on the building up high when it hit, and man, that's scary, man. Dub's going to bed by 9 now. I wish. I fall asleep usually around 1 a.m. But hey, I have a fear of heights. Imagine being up there and that thing starts moving like that, and I mean, you hold on, like, okay, I'll just hold on, I'm not gonna fall, and then next the whole damn building's falling.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. The earthquake that I experienced where I was right there was the 94, the Northridge. And I was right there in Nellis and Whittier, and we felt every bit of that. And I'm going to tell you right now, that thing, the building was rolling. The concrete was just cracking and rolling, and all the cops left. They took off.
Yes.
Left us all in there by ourselves for like half the day and we were getting little aftershocks after, and we were in that motherfucker. Hey, the end of hostilities was that day. Nobody was tripping at all.
So, like I said earlier, I was in the oil, and I was in high power in the county jail. And my homeboy Pancho is like 300 pounds, right? He was on the top bunk, homie. I was laying down, and the building started rocking. I was like this. I was looking at the top bunk, like, yeah, let that thing make a sound. I'm rolling out this bed. Oh, that's a big boy. But all the Huras ran out of the county jail. And then over there, they have little intercoms in the cell. These people had the nerve to come back like 20 minutes later, talking about, are you all right? We're like, well, why you ask now?
Yeah.
Like, if we wouldn't have been all right, you didn't give a fuck. You ran, right?
They left.
So I felt that one. In 88, I felt that one. I was in the like I said, we were in the homie's garage, house. 1992, Joshua Tree National Park. In the IE, I was in YTS. Man, that place was rocking. So I felt in my lifetime, I felt mostly all of I didn't, of course, the one in the Bay Area, I didn't feel, the 89 one. Yeah. But all the other ones, shit, I felt them.
Yeah, I felt the Bay one. I was in Merced at that time. I was young, watching the World Series. I told you, man, we felt it very little, but I mean, I watched it happening on TV live at the World Series. You're not rocking a hat. Whoa, what's happening here? I shaved my head.
The earthquake. There was an earthquake right now.
There was an earthquake, so it knocked the hat off my head.
But no, we don't want to keep you guys too long. How long have we been on, man? We've been on we're going to do 30 minutes, man. We just wanted to let you guys know. So, there's a very, very devastating earthquake that hit 7.7 in Myanmar. So far, only 100 over 150 confirmed deaths.
Mhm.
But their fear is there may be over 100,000 when they
Yeah.
pick everything up. Hold on, Joseph G. Although lots of Burmese are cool as fuck, many of them act different once there's more of them together versus when they're all nice and chum up with you. When they're alone, I tell the ones I know also. Prayers for Burma. Yeah. So we just wanted to come on and let people know what happened. And like we said, anybody who's willing, able, capable, look up where there's places, there's relief funds or whatever. Give it a day or two though, if you are willing. Give it a day or two because people have to figure out exactly what's needed there. And so we don't want to just send money to send money. You know what I mean? We have to make sure, what people, human beings are involved. We got to make sure the right people are doing the right things and pick the right organization.
Because there's going to be a lot of scammers, scam artists, man. They always do that. When there's devastation like this, all of a sudden these things, GoFundMe's and shit start popping up. Don't never contribute to a GoFundMe for something like this. There's going to be places like Red Cross and shit like that. Actual foundations that you donate to, man. People that just start GoFundMe's in the name of this, it's a scam. I'm going to tell you straight up,
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to let you get back to your day. And hopefully everybody has a great day. Thank you guys for stopping by and spending some time with us. I believe we're going to go live tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going live tonight.
Okay, we're going live. So stay tuned. Hopefully you guys will all be there, man. Thank you guys for being here. We're out of here.
Thank you.